Hello. Tonight we're going to look at standard versus slope intercept when it comes to linear equations. Both forms are used interchangeably in the sense that you should be able to go back and forth between the two of them. The standard form is this new one, which we haven't officially labeled yet. So if you haven't started copying this down yet, go ahead and get this equation called ax plus by equals c. On this then, something to note, neither a or b are not 0. They cannot be 0. There we go. Let's see. Purposes of standard form is that we're going to be using this when we start using systems of equations and have to add and subtract with them and multiply, divide. This form is also used down the road in your math career in terms of different formulas that are going to derive themselves from this formula. So in terms of algebra, you should know how to get this y by itself in order to change it over to this form, and just kind of know that it's there because it will be coming back up when we do systems of equations. Now this form over here, the slope intercept form, is called that because you can see what m is, we learned today, is the slope. It's real easy to see, and then this b then is the y-intercept. All right, so we're going to do an example if we were to graph both of these to see which one would be easier to do. I'm going to start first with the slope-intercept form. Down here I just did a sketch of a scale, and what we're going to do, let's see, how about we use the equation y equals a negative 2x plus 3. Okay, so since it's in this formula, y equals mx plus b, I can see that the slope is negative 2, and I know my y-intercept is a positive 3. So this plus 3 is where I'm going to start on my graph. Right here. Let's go ahead and get some marks on my graph. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so my first point I know is going to be at positive 0, 3 because of the plus 3. I now know my slope is negative 2. If you want to write that as a fraction, negative 2 over 1 for rise over run, which means I need to go down 2 over 1. So if you are doing this on actual graph paper, it's easier to see when we start doing the slope. And so we started with the y-intercept and went down 2 over 1 because of the slope, and now we have our line. All you need to do is go ahead and connect your 2 points, hopefully using a straight edge, and there's your first line. So that really didn't take a whole lot of math on our part other than having to count down 2 and over 1. If we take a look at the standard form, if I asked you to graph this right now, you have 2 options. Option 1 is to make a table, an XY table. XY table, that's option 1. Put some points in, substitute it out. Or option 2 is to change to y equals mx plus b. Okay, here's our example. Let's take the equation. How about 10x plus 2y equals 8. If I asked you to graph this, you could make a table, grab a few points. So if x is 2, what does y equal? If x is 10, what does y equals? If x is negative 3, choose some points, and then you'll be able to graph it. The second option is to change it to y equals mx plus b, and I think that's the route I'm going to go right now. So, draw this right here. And first step, subtract 10x from both sides. Minus 10x. And you're left with 2y equals, again, in the slope intercept form, you always put the x first. It's not necessarily wrong if you don't, it's just not in the right format. And then last step, divide by 2. Divide by 2, this is what you were doing over the weekend. And you're left with y equals a negative 5x plus 4 as your equation. Then what we would get to do on this one, we would see our y-intercept. We could put that at a positive 4. Right there. And because it goes down 5 over 1, rise over run, I'm going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 1 right here. And we end up with a fairly straight down line. There we go. All right. With that said, we'll be practicing more of this tomorrow in class. For tonight in your MJ, your homework is to do fair game review. It's from lesson 2.3. There are 5 problems. I have a copy of it right here. It's kind of blurry. I apologize. That's just how it ended up copying. You're welcome to look on Big Ideas, and it's on page 63 in your textbook. I'll collect this tomorrow. If you have more questions in terms of the lesson, want extra help, check out the lessons 2.3 and 2.4 in your textbook. Again, bigideas.com. Whoops, I believe Big Ideas Math.com. It's on my website if you want to click the link. Otherwise, have a great evening.